And we're back on YouTube after our little break, after our little siesta, after our little nap. I think as we continue here on the old school steel toe beat that we've been on for the last year, I think that'll happen less and less. But, you know, like any gal, we've got a past. And in that past is a lot of bodies. We hurt a lot of people, still hurting people, but just now we just hurt people by just doing our show and me waking up in the morning and not dying. I don't want to make fun of them too much. I got Chad Buzamak DMing me like, don't make fun of you guys too much. They're crazy. They'll go nuts. And it's like, I know. But I could talk shit about them or I could sneeze. Like either one of them, they're going to go nuts. Let's say this before we get started today. I think the best advice I could give them would be,
learn the difference between we have a problem and you have a problem.
If you learn that, you're going to be much better off. Today's going to be a great show. I tell you what, once I start prepping the show, I don't stop prepping the show. Like every time I go on Twitter, there's something there that we can use. And this morning I was sitting down here getting everything ready, getting everything organized. And I had to stop. I had to stop scrolling because there were more clips and more stories and more things. And I'm sitting here removing stuff that I wanted to start the show with and replacing it with this. And then we'll move this to the evening show. And I'm like, I have to just sit here for a minute. Like I'm prepping to, like, the more this show becomes like the old days, the more old days me comes back. And old days me is like not as lazy, like drama me or that kind of me, or where I follow this other stupid shit, is really lazy. Like doing that kind of show is very lazy. It doesn't do much for you. But when you're actually putting a real talk show together, I'm ashamed to even say this, but it's just you're constant. Once you start, you can't stop. You're like, oh, this will be great. Oh, this would be awesome. And then you curate it perfectly and you're like, I've got it, until you go back on again. And then all of a sudden, it's just more. Oh, shit, maybe this thing I had here wasn't so good. Maybe I should replace it with this thing. And maybe at some point, you just have to say, look, man, it's never going to be perfect. It's never going to be exactly the way you want it. Just let it go. Let it go. Don't let Don't let the perfect be the enemy of the good. That's what you have to do at some point. Very excited about this show. Deutsch Chad says it's like a cocaine addiction. Like I said, I never really got that one. I never really got the cocaine thing. The 3-4 times I did that was more of a guilt thing. I was more of a Molly on the weekend kind of guy, which is that's such a midlife crisis thing to do. Like, I'm so ashamed of that man. I'm so ashamed of that guy. Oh, what a loser. Just what a loser I was, you know? What a fucking bum. Don't even recognize that guy anymore. Can Digger do this show once a week, like a guest spot, like in overtime or whatever? That would be really good. I would like that. Digger seems really nice. And he, that's the thing. Like, that's what sucks about a guy like Johnny having MS and, limits your mobility and your ability to get around. He's a very social guy. Like, he's a very hangout kind of a dude. So if he has someone that makes it easier for him to be social and hang out, I think that's wonderful. Plus, if they're really nice and they're really cool, that's a plus. Like, I met the girl from California. I knew her. I don't remember her name, which I think is for the best. But, like, I met her. I knew her. I hung out with her for a night. She went to that 3rd Street Brewhouse Cold Spring Brewing event that we did a private show for. And she seemed nice enough. I know it ended crazy. But but that's the thing. Like, those California people, male or female, they can be normal, like, for a little bit. They can be normal. When they go off and they go crazy, it's not like a gradual leak. It's not like a drip from a faucet. It's Vesuvius. It's an explosion. And that's, I guess, kind of what happened. I never saw it, but I don't doubt that it happened. Oh, Veldrain, what a goddamn sweetheart. Veldrain says, you appear to have lost weight. The arms appear less lunch lady-like. Well, the thing is, I think when I wear extra large shirts, it looks baggier and I look heavier. I think when I put on my larges in my closet, I think when they fit better, I look better because I weigh about the same. I'm about 220. I don't like it's clothes voodoo. If you wear, get this, if you wear shit that fits, you look better. Pro tip of the day here from the toe. Chips and Diff says, haven't we learned anything from having women on the show? I don't think that the problem with this program was having a quote unquote a woman on the show. I think the issue there was we had a woman on the show who was who wanted to be. And I don't mean that as a bad thing, but when you want it really bad and you don't necessarily earn it, you don't have the talent or the skill or whatever, it can make things complicated. It has to be the right woman, just like it has to be the right dude. We've had people who co-hosted this show and it didn't click. We've had guest second mics and stuff and it didn't click. But I don't think Johnny's in trouble because he's got necessarily a woman on his show. It is more difficult because guys and gals are typically into different shit. And I'm nervous of any woman who goes, oh, I'm just like one of the guys. It's like, no, we could still make you cry in 5 minutes. Let's not. You don't want a woman, if you're doing a show, you don't want a woman who's one of the guys. That's the most phony imitation crab version of a dude you could possibly get. You want a woman, who's a girl. That's her perspective. That's where she's coming from. You don't need someone, like anytime a woman tries to go like, I'm one of the guys, I'm going to do a show like I'm one of the guys, you always end up with someone with lukewarm dude takes. And like, who needs that when you've got actual dudes? The thing you want is a woman with woman takes. And if you don't want that, then just don't have the woman on the show. But I think it works for Johnny. Ace with $4.99. Oh, yeah, people think I made Scott make a video. No, Scott came up. I was in the ring. I was working out, and Scott's like, yeah, I want to come say something. I'm like, it works for me. But I understand. If you don't like me, you need that. Look, guys, I've never begrudged you your fan fiction. I just call you out when you're wrong. That's all. That's the relationship. That's all it is. When you're wrong, I check you on it. And if you can handle that, then you're good. But yeah, he just wanted to come up and do that. It is kind of funny. Scott hates your guts. And then Scott gushes about me. You made him do that. It's like, that's interesting. You guys don't see that you're kind of cowardly and that no matter what happens, you're going to make the reality what you need it to be. You don't think you're projecting onto me just a little. Here's what I say. Whatever you can handle. Chad Buzamok says, no Chad Buzamok board, no goal. Hey, wait a minute. It's still the Chad Buzamok board. So maybe if we change it to what Jeremy said, maybe that'll help us. Because the Chad Buzamok board, we've been missing, before the last couple weeks, we'd been missing quite a bit. Do I extend this anyway? I can't start the week with a loss. It would really bum me the out. I'm not going to lie. Carlos Cameo says, keep going, you'll hit it. Yeah, I can't. Starting the week out with a loss would really sting. Plus, once I told everyone that, like, hey, Steel Toes back to even. Remember that when we got there, like in the fall, like in October, November? After that, it's really been dancing on either side of even. Mostly because I've had to spend a bunch of money catching up on those VIPs. So, we haven't exactly been building a war chest. I'm building a camera war chest right now. That's kind of the plan.